the folks at Walmart. Okay, BlackBerry, they are fighting back. The stock is actually surging. Look at this. It's up nearly 40% so far this year compared to Apple's drop of more than 7%.
Could this be the beginning of a pretty massive reversal from 2013? Is BlackBerry back as a major competitor in the smartphone race? Joining us now, JC Parets, Eagle Bay Capital founder and president. This is quite the shift, and it works when we show that year to date, BlackBerry has certainly jumped rather exponentially. Year over year, it's a less clear picture. Apple's up, BlackBerry's down. Why the switch now?
Well, we're seeing a massive sentiment unwind. In December, everybody knew BlackBerry was a complete train wreck. It wasn't a secret. We're seeing bearish magazine covers comparing it to old relics from 6000 BC and whatnot. When we start seeing these signs, we know that the pessimism is already priced into the stock. BlackBerry's doubled since December, and I think it has the opportunity to double once again.
There's a picture, by the way, of one of the magazines comparing the BlackBerry product to an old Arrowhead. But what is new about BlackBerry? I've heard about a new product that they have, which is actually going back to basics, where they're going back to the old BlackBerry style. So have they learned that trying to compete with the new styles of Apple and so forth are not working?
Well, as a technician, I focus on the behavior of the market and market participants and try to ignore kind of the fundamentals of the market. And what we're seeing, this is a pure supply and demand play. We're seeing that sentiment.
By supply and demand, you don't mean the product, you mean the stock itself.
Well, this is what we're talking about, right? We're talking about a stock. I mean, the company is doing what it's doing, but at the end of the day, more buyers and sellers send a stock higher, and the inverse sends it lower. So what we saw in December was fresh new lows, below the lows that it made last summer.
But you can have a stock go to zero. You're saying that you've reached a point where there aren't any more sellers, but a stock can go to zero. I've seen it happen.
I have as well, and we'll see it again, I promise. But in the case of BlackBerry, when you see it undercut previous historic lows, like we saw in December, and then a quick reversal back above those lows, see what happens is you have a lot of shorts initiating positions on the new lows. You have a lot of longs being stopped out that said, hey, I'm going to stay long below those levels, I'm out. So what happens? When the price starts getting above, the shorts have to cover. That creates demand. The buyers have to get back in.
You're saying there's a squeeze. Now you guys, we love this because you technicians, you only look at the details when it comes to black and white and the printed number on the page. You don't get yourself caught up in these pedestrian things like leadership. You ignoring the fact that there's a new leader at the top, John Chen, over at BlackBerry. He has said, I am in this to win this.
Liz, I try not to focus on that. I really try to focus on the behavior of the market because we're talking about a stock. All of these things are lagging indicators. The market is forward-looking, and right now the market is telling us that money is going into BlackBerry and it's coming out of Apple.
But you know who's putting money into Apple is Carl Icahn. He's no dummy. Don't you think that when he makes a major purchase, as he has in several tranches over the past month or so, that he knows what he's doing?
Sure, and with all due respect to Carl Icahn, I'm sure he has a very good reason for being in the stock. I have to worry about my investors and what we're doing every single day, and everything that I'm looking at, there's absolutely zero reason to be in Apple.
But no offense, Carl Icahn does know what he's doing. He's been around a lot longer than you have. Don't you think he's looked at all the indicators that you've looked at and says it's time to buy? He's doing it for a reason.
There's a lot of great investors throughout stock market history. If we were just to blindly follow every single one of their trades on every great investor that we've ever seen, I would have a portfolio all full of all sorts of stocks. So I can't worry about what these guys are doing. We've got to focus on what's working for us. Money's coming out of Apple. It's a broken stock. I think it's dead money at best.
Wow.
And money's going into BlackBerry, and I think BlackBerry doubles from here.
Fascinating. Let's bring you back. I want to see if this happens. Great to see you, JC.
Thanks for having me.
JC Parets, Eagle Bay Capital founder and president.